Hello everyone, welcome back to your channel Ansarkari, and I hope that you all must be doing fine. So in this video, we are going to discuss the newspaper for 27th of January 2023. So let's start. So India majorly, we displayed our indigenous arms and women power during our Republic Day celebrations. And when we talk about the indigenous arms, so that included basically made in India equipments like battle tanks called Arjun. Then we have the Nag missile systems, the K9 Vajra T-gun system, the Akash air defense system, and the BrahMos missiles. And we also, like the Indian-made field guns, they replaced the vintage model for the 21 gun salute. So this was a change. And talking about the EPFO's plan to review high pension payout cases, it sparks concerns. And the new circular, it provides for recovery from the pensioners who have been granted higher pension without exercising the relevant option. So this is one development. And we have, like, yesterday we talked about the shorting position that has been taken in the Adani group. So because of that, we saw that its price saw a sudden fall, or we can also say it to be a crash. And so the people, basically the workers who helped in beautification of the Kartavya Path, they were declared special guests on the Republic Day celebration. So they say that we feel represented. So obviously when we address the contributions, the major contributions, and the basically such people who work at the grassroots level, who actually they work hard, they toil every single day. So they, like, we can call that is the real democracy. So they feel represented with just a small gesture, and that is there. So then we see what else important news do we have for today. Then for the prelims, one important fact is that you should be knowing that Etiko Pakka toy craft, it is there from the state of Andhra Pradesh. So it can come up and match the following. And talking about India's first mission to study the sun, which is known as the Aditya L1 mission. So it is regarding studying the sun, and ISRO is planning to launch this Aditya L1 mission by June or July this year. So it is the first Indian space mission to observe the sun and the solar corona. So the atmosphere is called solar corona, and the L1 orbit, which is, we can say, it is the first Lagrangian point of the Sun-Earth system. So there are 2 points, L1 and L2. So L1 orbit, it allows Aditya L1 to look at the sun continuously. And one of its primary payload is going to be the visible emission line coronagraph. And this is, we can say, it can image the sun as close at 1.05 times the solar radius. It can also do imaging, spectroscoping, and polarimetry at the same time, and it can take observations at a very high resolution or level of detail and many times a second. So this is how powerful it is, and obviously it becomes an important element of this mission. So I did not find these editorials of, like, much importance from the perspective of civil services. And obviously we know about the wrestlers protesting against the president of the Wrestling Federation of India, and he's been accused of sexual harassment and even corruption. So all that is being investigated. A committee has been formed headed by Maricom. So that is there, and obviously they have to face so much of challenges, and only then with their hard work they reach such a position. So we see that um In Myanmar, there is a surge in the production of opium cultivation by 33%. So obviously, this is an like important concern for Indian security, for Indian society, because obviously it would be leading to increase in drug trade, and you should be knowing about the Golden Crescent and the Golden Triangle. So that is there, and we see that Japan is going to flush the Fukushima wastewater. So here we'll be understanding about the incidents of Fukushima. So Japanese authorities, they have granted the permission for the irradiated wastewater containing trace amounts of tritium from the destroyed Fukushima nuclear power plant, that is to be diluted and released into the ocean. And you can here have a look at the location of Japan. So why is this water a problem? So in March 2011, after an earthquake of 9 magnitude, there was tsunami which flooded this a nuclear power plant, which is located in the Okuma, and it damaged its diesel generators. So soon after that, radioactive materials, they leaked from the reactors, pressure vessels, they exploded in the facility's upper levels and exposed themselves to the ambient air, water, soil, to entire surrounding, to obviously the entire population that was living around that region, in that area. And even obviously wind would also carried radioactive material which were thrown up into the air, into the Pacific Ocean. So the water that the Japanese government wants to flush from the plant, it was used to cool the reactors, the rainwater and the groundwater. So it contains radioactive isotopes from the damaged reactors, and it is thus itself radioactive. So that water is radioactive, and Japan has said that it will release this water into the Pacific Ocean over the next 30 years. So that is going to be a gradual exercise and not like releasing that entire water into the Pacific Ocean. And can that water be treated? So it has like the Tokyo Electric Power Company, which operates this Fukushima facility. It has said that it has treated the water to remove the most radioactive isotopes, and it is going to be far above the safety standards before releasing it into the ocean. And any discharge of the radioactive material will increase the risk of cancer and other known health impacts to those who gets exposed. And another problem is that the company, it has not removed tritium from the water, because this is very difficult to do so. So it is very difficult to remove it from the water. So still the water, however, we can say that it is not containing other radioactive material, but still it has tritium in it. And tritium, it is easily absorbed by the bodies of living creatures, and they can rapidly distributed via the blood. So that is one of the major concerns. And what are the other options available to Japan instead of releasing that water into the ocean? So few experts, they have asked why the Japanese government cannot store the water for a longer period of time and then discharge it. So this would help, we can say, in bringing down the tritium levels lower in the water, because when you talk about the half-life of tritium, so half-life means the time it takes for its quantity to get halved through radioactive decay. So in case of tritium, its half-life is around 12 to 13 years. So if that water is kept in storage facilities for 12 to 13 years, the quantity of tritium will get halved in that. So that is one the option. And Japanese government has also declared land around the Fukushima facility to be uninhabitable. Obviously, that is logical. And after visiting the Fukushima in February 2020, the International Atomic Energy Agency officials, they also said that discharge would be technically feasible, and it would allow the timeline objective to be achieved. So International Atomic Energy Agency has approved the release after proper assessment. And will the Pacific Ocean be affected after the release? So obviously it would be effective, and the surrounding countries, including China, South Korea, Taiwan, they have expressed concerns over the Japan's plan. And you need to find out more about the Pacific Islands Forum. So it becomes important for prelims, and it is called that It is simply inconceivable based on their experience with the nuclear contamination. So obviously the release of water with tritium in it would definitely going to impact firstly the marine life. The we can say it might lead to the contamination of the entire water, and through the food chain it can obviously end up inside the humans and can lead to uh, like serious illnesses in humans. So that is there. And talking about some of the concerns related to India regarding this decision, so since it is located around the coast, so the Fukushima accident of 2011, it also revived concerns about some existing nuclear power plants located specifically in India. So one of them is the Kudankulam nuclear power plant, which has been established with the help or in collaboration with Russia. So even that facility is located in Tamil Nadu near the coast. So there we can say we can draw parallels between the two sides of Kudankulam, a nuclear power plant, and the Fukushima station. So we have similar concerns of like there is again a tsunami. So it can lead to similar the repeat of history as we saw in the case of Fukushima disaster. And here you can also have a look at the chemical composition of tritium water. So it is chemically identical to the normal water, but tritium it is tough to remove from the water. So that is there. And so again, talking about India and Egypt in the context of the non-aligned movement. So the two countries, they reaffirmed their commitment to multilateralism, the principles of United Nations Charter, international law, the founding values of the non-aligned movement, and the respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all the states. So this is, we can say, all the key terms and keywords are present in it. So even your answers should reflect this kind of language. Then we talk about the India-Myanmar border and the role of China. So China has exploited the tribal alienation along the India-Myanmar border. And we can say specifically that in order, obviously the main motive of China in this incident is that it wanted to cause insurgency and create instability in the northeast India. And India shares a 1,643-kilometer long border with Myanmar. So here you should be knowing about which all Indian states shares its border with Myanmar. So that includes Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, and Mizoram. So there are four states, and we have like porous border with Myanmar. So there is free movement regime in which locals they can move up to 16 kilometer on either side of the border. So that is the free movement regime we have with Myanmar. We also have it one with Nepal as well. So it is suggested based on the intelligence inputs that there exists a historical link between northeast insurgents and China. So what is that link? So the arms that are acquired from China, they are smuggled through Thailand, Bangladesh, and Sino-Myanmar borders into the northeastern states. And that is, we can say, that has been the role of China. So in a way, it has promoted insurgency and instability in Northeast India to make it unstable. And that's how China has exploited this situation. So Putin has to say that India is making big contribution to international stability. This comes in the backdrop of India celebrating its 74th Republic Day celebrations. And next we talk about the forest cover. So states they fall short of the target to improve their forest cover and the quality. So India is lagging behind in the targets to increase the number and the quality of tree and forest cover plantations under the Green India mission. And this data has been revealed through an RTI petition. So the National Mission for Green India, it is one of the 8 missions under the National Action Plan on Climate Change. And looking at the findings of this report, we see that states with a significant shortfall in the tree cover includes Andhra Pradesh. So Andhra Pradesh is on the top, and these findings they become important for prelims. So as per the India State of Forest Report 2021, the forest and the tree cover in the country increased by 2,261 square kilometers since the last assessment in 2019. So here you should be knowing that the India State of Forest Report is released biennially, that is once in 2 years, and India's total forest and tree cover was 80.9 million hectares, which accounted for about 24.62% of the geographical area of the country. And talking about the states, so Madhya Pradesh had the largest forest cover, followed by Arunachal Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Maharashtra. And when we talk about the top five states in terms of forest cover as a percentage of the total geographical area, so that included the northeastern states of Mizoram, and then followed by Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Manipur, and Nagaland. And India also released its nasal COVID-19 vaccine, which is called Incovac, and that is manufactured by the Bharat Biotech International Limited. So you need to find out more about how how does it work, and that is there. So from the business page, we see that the US economic growth beat the forecast in Q4 as consumers they raised their spending, but again, since it is based on consumer spending, so that becomes variable. And this is a good news for a short term, but if it sustains for a longer time period, we can say that the impact of recession, or we are not going to head into a absolute or a true recession. And we're again seeing IT companies increasing the layoffs. So obviously that is because of weakening IT demand, and the IT sector is going to be under pressure this year. So we'll be taking a Financial Express. So here we just have to understand this data. So we see that states with low debt, they are spending more on welfare. So basically, more on the social sector, which includes education and healthcare. And the National Capital Territory of Delhi topped the list in spending for the welfare sector. So here you can have a look at the top five states and the bottom five states. So top five includes NCT of Delhi, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Manipur, West Bengal. And the state's overall social sector spending, it rises. So you can have a look through this graph. And how the education and healthcare they fare. So we see that the states they're spending more on education compared to that of the healthcare compositions. So that's how it is. So we just had only this this much important information to be discussed from Financial Express, and that's all for today. Thank you for joining in, Sarkari. I hope you've enjoyed this session, and meet you tomorrow. So do not forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share this video as much as possible, and you'll be also getting the link of the PDF in the description box. So it becomes important you revise through that PDF regularly.